consider on the end, talk to him about it. It wasn't really nothing that we can do. So that happened December the 15th, and he passed away on the 21st of December. So, that's kind of hard to endure because it's like a lot of times when people go through things in our community, we are taught that, we pray for them and that they will be fine. But that's not the case. We actually need to do a little bit more in regards to making sure that we are there, making sure that they know that if they need any assistance, we can provide that for them. And we don't have to be a professional. It's just a simple listening ear. Zay does something where he goes actually on Instagram and he asks people how they feel. And the responses that he get from people that we don't even know, you can't even imagine. Got people DM him 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, just wanting to talk. He doesn't know these people, with his brothers from the campaign. So Zay definitely thought about what we need to do, just in remembrance of our friend, but we kind of felt like even if no one showed up, we were still going to do this because this is something that is needed, especially in regards to our black men and our black young men. So Mind of a King is an organization in regards to mental health, but we want to provide a little additional assistance. We want to make a safe haven for men and our young men. So, and we definitely appreciate you all coming out just to assist us. And this is not going to be a yearly thing. That's one thing we want to make sure. This is not yearly. We will have a continuation. We will keep in contact. We will be deciding to do and help with resources. So we got a lot of things coming up, and again, we definitely appreciate it. I'm Kim, by the way. My number is on the flyer, so I got all types of people that DM and call me and everything. I don't care. I'm here, so I'm going to hand it over to Zach, and thank you, gentlemen, again.
I'm Zay. How y'all doing, everybody? Thank you for being here. Like she said, to reiterate off of what she went through, what we went through, losing a friend like that you kind of grow up with, that teach you things, help you build as a person, to see them, when you see them in the light of they're a strong person, they have everything you can imagine, and for them to take their own lives is difficult to deal with, you know what I'm saying? So this is just the beginning of so much more that's gonna come with everything. Like we just was talking about, the next event is gonna be for Father's Day. It's gonna be a brunch for the fathers and the sons. You know, you can bring your daughters as well. We gonna get more into that. But this program is being built off of pure want for more for men, because there's nothing. Literally, like you Google men's mental health, there's nothing. Like it's maybe one page of information that's really not helping. So this is the beginning. I appreciate every single one of y'all, because the moment I reached out to each one of y'all, everybody said yes without even knowing what we was doing all the way. So I appreciate y'all. I want to say thank y'all 100%.
So we do want to introduce everybody and just tell us what you guys do. And, if anybody has any questions in regards to what we need or what resources you guys think that they can provide, I want to give a special shout out to Coach Rob. Just from the root, transitioning from different places and just providing resources and just being like, it's going to be fine. Whatever y'all on, I'm on, and he came through. Like when I say came through, every time I called him, even when he couldn't find my number. But when I called him, he knew it was me. He was like, what's up, what we doing? And anything that I was worried about, he was like, no, don't worry about it. We're going to get it done by any means. So we're not worried if a big crowd show up or if a little crowd show up. He said it needs to happen, so we want to make it happen. So I want to say thank you, Coach Rock, and I want to start with you, and you can pass it on down.
How everybody doing, first and foremost? My name is Kenneth Thompson, formerly Kim Rock, Coach Rock on Instagram. just a little bit about myself. I currently serve as the alternative violence strategist for the Councilwoman Cindy Bass for the 8th District. So a part of my role is bringing my experience to the table and connecting with community organizations that I know that's here, and just trying to figure out ways to support people that's doing the work, real people that I know doing the work. A little bit about myself. I'm from Strawberry Mansion, North Philadelphia. Talk about violence. I done shot people, I done been shot. I got 5 bullet holes in my body. Talk about incarceration. I've been getting incarcerated since I was 15 years old. I've been home for 2 years after serving 16 years in federal prison. So the councilwoman saying the things that I was doing in Strawberry Mansion, she asked me to come to the team and hopefully bring that experience here. And it's just the start of the things that we want to do and the things that we can use the resources that we have to do it as much as we possibly can. So that's just a little bit about myself, and I'm gonna pass it on to the gentleman next to me. Thank you.
How y'all doing? I'm Sean Daniels. I'm from the Youth Study Center. I'm a counselor. I've been working here for 16 years, going on 17 years. And I work with young people such as yourself that's out there right now from the ages of 11 to 20 years old. The young people at my job are detained for 3 months, 6 months, a year, some 2 years. I'm with them every day from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep. I teach them things such as making their bed, to how to pray, to how to talk to adults, to how to talk to each other. Because a lot of the young people that comes inside the center, they don't have that. They don't have a lot of the skills and a lot of the basic trainings that you're supposed to get from home. And if some of them did learn that stuff, they forget it when they come in here. And they can be some of the most disrespectful young people I've ever met in my life. But I've been doing this so long, I can connect with them real well. I don't have any problems with them. And I deal with them on the outside when they come home. I help them get jobs, I help them go to school. I might have to buy their baby pampers, or might have to get them a ride from A to B because they're scared to get on the train and get on the bus. And that's the problem with a lot of young people. That's why when they say when wearing masks and all that stuff, you wear the mask because they're scared. They're not wearing it because they want to go do some crime all the time. They're wearing it because they're scared. They don't want to get seen by their enemies and things like that. So it's a long road. I appreciate this brother. I met him when he first came home. I was standing in front of the center. He pulled up on me asking how can you get in and talk to the young people. And we've been following each other on Instagram from there. And I've been watching him. You've been doing this thing, man. And I'm really proud of you. Like seriously, you come a long way from just 2 years. You know what I mean? It's great stuff. And I'm just happy to be here. I just came up to really observe, but the brother told me come on up here and talk. So I'm really happy to be here amongst these men, amongst y'all. Just to be here amongst y'all people is like a real good thing. I'm thankful y'all having me.
Hi everybody, my name is Tommy Blackwell. Again, I'm a state committee member, Democratic State Committee member. I represent the 7th Senatorial District. I am also the founder of Blackwell Cultural Alliance, along with my wife, Sajda Blackwell, who is currently running for state representative of the 10th Legislative District. More importantly, the most important hat I believe I wear is I am a servant of the community. In any way we can help, we do help. If there's information out there to get for our family, for our neighbors, we go out there and get it, but not just getting information. We put the information that we get to use. The words that we speak to people, we put them into action. What I thought about this when Zay asked me to be a part of this, I thought that, like, wow, what a perfect opportunity to talk to some young men, hopefully some older gentlemen, about the seriousness of a few different things. Of course, gun violence is one. Everybody's top of the list to do right now. But I also want to talk to you men, about domestic violence and the fact that it does happen to men as well, and there are a lack of resources for men. There are no transitional homes in the city of Philadelphia for men. There is one organization that stands out in support of men who actually provides resources, but they are limited. The Black World Cultural Alliance wants to change that by opening a transitional home for men who are victims of domestic violence, and also for men who are the custodial parents of their children, but are homeless. So there are a few different things that we do. I don't want to put myself in a box and say, we do this, we do that. When we have someone who is in need, we have a family in need, we go out and we help that family. I think it's important, I'm gonna piggyback off of what the gentleman said. I think it's important that you listen to the gentleman up there, familiar with everybody, John McCain, my man. Everyone up here has something to offer. We've all, maybe done some things that we're not proud of, but we all learn those lessons, and, we take these opportunities to give back to the community. Myself, I lost 3 children in 2023. One to gun violence. One, his death is still under investigation, and I lost my son Charles to domestic violence. So, people ask me, how it is I get up and do what I do. I get up and do what I do because, I feel that I was ordained by God to give you all what's real. The world doesn't love you. The streets don't love you. We don't know you. We don't know you. People don't know you. They don't know your struggles. They don't know what you go through. So you have to be a warrior for yourself. You have to take care of yourself and know that your mental health is most important to your success in life. But I'll go further along with that as we go along with the program. But again, my name is Tommy Blackwell. You can follow me at Tommy Blackwell _. I'm always available. I answer every single DM. I answer every single phone call. And I'm here to help.
Hey everybody, can y'all hear me? My name is Tyree Lewis. I'm the owner and founder of God of Guns, LLC. In short, God of Guns represents people that believe in God but struggle with their choices. I know y'all are pretty far away, but if you look at the word God, you'll see that it's spelled out of faith, hope, love, patience, forgiveness, while the word guns is spelled out of violence, struggle, anger, hurt. So in a moment of adversity, I would ask, whether you're choosing God or guns. Just really want people to think about their choices, because right now people are picking up guns. It's like they're closing their eyes and just shooting. No value to life. People are just out here just responding with violence. And I can't judge them necessarily, because I was that same person. In 2010, my father was murdered. And when that happened, I am licensed to carry, so I do have some firearms legally. And when we found out who was responsible, I wanted revenge. I guess the plot twist was that I didn't want to kill the people that killed my father. I wanted to kill their parents, people that had nothing to do with it, right? So the night before, and the reason I say the night before is because during the day, I wanted to execute these people's parents, just to make the news and be that guy, but God came to me in a dream basically and showed me, if you kill this man, you're gonna be hurting your family. Even with that, when I woke up, it was kind of like, do I go with that message from God, or do I just say forget about it and go use my gun? Hence the words God or guns. And it also doesn't hurt that my favorite rapper is Nas, and he asked the question, God or guns, which is better protection, right? We're out here, well, what I do is I go around, I share my story with the youth, but not even with the youth, with adults too, because the story can touch anybody. I've had people that actually went through with it and wound up killing a few people, spent half their life in prison and now they're home, and regretted it the minute they pulled that trigger. So, I try to go around, talk to individuals, and just let them know we do have choices. You don't have to succumb to the pressures of your neighborhood. We get around with the youth, we pull them from the neighborhood, whether it's to do short story films, photo shoots, right? Photo shoots, short films, and we're working on doing some other things that I can't really speak of right now. But just, stay locked in, and hopefully I can get some of y'all info and we can move forward that way.
My name is Jan Hakeem McKay. I'm the founder and president of Life Outside the Streets, where our mission is to treat trauma through arts, education, and information using brain health. First and foremost, I'm a servant of Christ. That's the primary thing that I am. I like to share that, on my journey as a believer. Once upon a time, I was doing business, I was doing life outside the streets, and God was a part of who I am and a part of what was important to me. But now I'm doing God's assignment, and my business just so happens to be a part of the assignment. So, it's a little different. I like to share that. I just turned 40, March 22nd. All glory be to God. And I point that out, I know this is a brief introduction, but I heard about 16, I heard about 18, I heard about 20, 21, maybe even 30. But they ain't tell me nothing about 40. And I say that because 40, my birthday blessings were like the passions of my heart, restoring relationships. It's just different. And I believe that spending, if it was a little bit more of a trailer on 40, people would be striving to live long. So I said, I'm making my business. Tell my daughter, that's my daughter right there, Love Miracle McKay. I have an 18-year-old son, Samadi Cox. Life outside the streets, all glory be to God. There is a science and a solution to the violence in our community. I know that that's not what has been communicated to us, and quite frankly, maybe those people don't know. But I'm here to tell you that there is a solution, and it's wrapped around brain health. Violence is dictated. What organ in your body causes you to become violent? Children. What organ? Huh? I'm saying, what controls your behavior? What organ control? Huh?
That's not an organ, right? Your mind?
Yes, your mind is an organ, right? And the reason why you might not have been sure about that, because our brain is the only thing that they don't teach about us in school. You don't learn unless you're becoming a neuroscientist or a therapist. They don't teach you how your brain operates. They don't teach you how it works, how to optimize it. When you go to the doctor, there's no brain health care, no assessment, no preventative care, nothing. But the violence and addiction and everything that plagues our community is based off of what? Our brain health. So, as a student at community college, I got introduced to Dr. Daniel Amen, who's he was a military psychiatrist and x-ray technician when he got introduced to SPECT imaging, which is a brain scan that looks at blood flow and brain activity. CAT scans and PET scans only look at the structure, so they don't look at the function. And the doctors only use them after severe brain damage. They don't use them in preventative or proactive care anyway. But SPECT imaging allows you to look at the brain so you can see where the damage is at, and you can use all of the great technology and resources that God has provided us with to heal the brain. Dr. Daniel Amen is not a podcaster that's selling this information. He has clinics, he has practices, he's been taking it to governments. The government knows. And they're choosing not to provide us with adequate care. So I close out with Life Outside the Streets. I took that from school, and I said, I'm not waiting for the people to get it. I'm not going to get a degree and waiting for you to get therapy to get it. I bundled it into a training, and through our program and everything that we're doing, I'm giving it to the community. Because when I came home in 2014, by 2015, working with the University of Penn Netter Center, they sent me to what they call a trauma-informed care training. And it was in that training in 1 hour, I learned that untreated trauma was the root cause of what plagues our community. And then that's when all of this money around violence prevention began. That was back in 2017. And the priority was to tell the professionals and depend on the professionals for it to trickle down to the community, which I know would never happen. So that's when I changed our mission to treat trauma so I can bring it to our families directly. And that's what I'm here to do.
So we definitely want to open it up for any questions that anybody maybe, have as regards to our organization, what people want to look forward to. If you guys have any ideas that you can give us that we can actually actively work on. We do have another event coming up. Hopefully we can talk to you brothers about participating with that with us. But, we definitely, anybody have any questions, any young men or anybody just want to give us a little bit of, what they, as far as mental health, how has that affected your family? How has it, maybe put a strong hold on the family? I know a lot of people who have family members that go through mental health. Sometimes it is a struggle to deal with them, and I'm speaking from experience because we don't know what they're going through mentally. And we do everything that we can, that we feel as though we can to prevent them from going to the next level. And sometimes we're not able to do so. And just to piggyback off of Tommy, when you spoke about men with, just domestic violence. When I was 17 years old, I had a friend who was in a relationship, and we were young. And he would basically be beaten on. They became parents at 18 years old. And because the girl came from a violent household, she took that into their household. And ultimately, that ended up with my friend not being able to speak anymore because she stabbed him in the throat. So me being 17, 18 years old, going to see my friend, because he's been abused. And guess what? We have friends, our other guy friends made fun of it, like, she not beating you up, like, you a man. Like, how you letting her do that until they were able to see that this is actually happening. So, hopefully we're able to assist with things that are going on like that. Hopefully we can be someone to, or be people or organizations, we can help. Like, we need to be able to make sure that, again, I strongly stress it, we need a safe haven for Black men. We need to ensure that these men know that they are loved, they are okay, they can come and get help. So, does anybody have any questions or want to say anything? I know Pastor Dicey, my girl. You do, right? Come on up. Yeah, come on up, Ray. Come on, Ray.
Show 'em how it's done, my man.
Yeah, I'm Free Truth Radio, gas station radio. I did the introduction in the circle, whatever, but I have autistic children, so I'm doing things in autistic awareness in our city, and I also do something called plantover pills, where to get the perks and the Xannies out of the kids' hands, and point people to a positive alternative. That's something that's not done in our city, which doesn't make sense because our city has the biggest drug epidemic ever because they actually let people do drugs while the cops be standing there. I come out with stuff like this and see the positive people that sit at the panels and stuff like that. And I believe in some of it solely because of Yana. Our city don't got we ain't got a role model system. Even when we was doing wrong, we had a structure. And it ain't no structure to nothing. There's no structure to the bad, and we don't have no structure to the good either. Who these kids look up to? We can't help them if we don't know who they look up to, right? Because that's the person they really listen to. A panel full of people that talk about what they did, how they changed. We could do that all day, right? That ain't who they listening to. I don't know who his favorite rapper is or who he listening to all day once he leave out of here. Or when he outside, who his role model was. A lot of us from the street, when we did wrong, we did it because we saw the role model, right? Nice cars, this, that. So we wanted that, we followed behind it. Or you had the kids who they may have had the parent who had the good job or whatever, however the situation is. And didn't follow behind that. It was some form of structure. I don't know what happened in the last, 15, 20 years, because crime will always be around. It's there. But last 15, 20 years, we lost it. Like I said, there's no structure to the bad, and we ain't even got no structure to the good. We gotta go back to ground zero. Who the bad looking up to, and who the good looking up to? Who is the actual role model to say, hey, I want to be like him because he work at this job, he got this car, or he got the nice wife, and the things that people really looking at, right? I had certain role models or certain people where, yes, I could look at them and I could say, this person stayed out of trouble. My dad never sold a drug. So it was embarrassing for me to go to jail for it, but I still can say that when I got out, I still had who to look at. Who we looking at? They always in his phone. Even when you told him to come up, the youngin' had to put his phone down to join the circle. So if they in their phone, who they looking at?
I'm ready to answer whenever you're ready.
It's a panel, so let's get to it. We just want to make sure you guys are can we get to it? I would like, because I feel like I'm somebody that I got a lot of resources, right? I don't know what to do.
Let's get to it. Thank you, brother. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Real quick, the Queen has a message.
But I didn't really plan on speaking, but I guess it's just on my heart.
Praise the Lord.
So I'm Miss Sakina from Penn, and I just want to piggyback off a couple of things that the gentleman said in regards to growing up in the city of Philadelphia. I'm from North Philly as well, and like John said, I'm in my 40s. But
Praise the Lord.
so it's just like, some of the experiences growing up in North Philadelphia, like some of the things like he was saying, your environment, what you coming outside to look at, who you looking up to, the school system, what they're teaching you, the differences between, when I graduated in '97 versus what some of you guys are experiencing in the public school system now. Some of my thoughts is that, just like in home, school, community, religion, whatever else is influencing, the kids, this generation is social media, your internet, but, what's the real focus? What are we looking up to? Who are they looking up to? The role models that's out here. But in school, they're not teaching them about financial literacy. They're not teaching them about real life. They're not teaching them how to cope with their emotions. And if anybody that kind of personally knows me, that's what I lead with. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence. I just was fresh off of one of the case manager for the youth diversion. So, I manage a lot of these kids that's out here. And, I'm relatable, they look up to me. But at the end of the day, when they leave from me, in their household, I'm assisting their mothers. I'm a single mother, raising 2 kids. So, I'll be having a lot of personal experience to put on the table. But, I'm not like a big organization, but, I make little dents. And it's all of us out here doing the work. But right, driving the youth, having the youth, listen to you, and then, what they're looking at, like it's the environment. But you look, mom ain't got it, dad is in jail, the household is broken down. And then we're expecting these kids to still show up to school, still show up to want to play a sport, still, show up to want to do something in the community that's not really giving back to them. So, but we need to leave us with emotional intelligence, being self-aware, how to regulate your emotions. A lot of the mental health stuff here, I have a lot of things here, how to get a good night's sleep, post-traumatic stress, how to deal with depression, how to deal with abandonment, rejection. Those are the things, because when those things come up in life, you got to know how to maneuver that. And they're not teaching you that in school. So when you out here and you get into these experiences, you get into your homie, your friend doing this, that, and the third, you don't know what choice to make. Because your homie is the one that's showing you whatever attention that he's giving, it ain't good. But he's showing you some type of attention, so you won't gravitate towards it. But it ain't the right thing to do. But what else are you going to do? So right, my main thing is emotional intelligence. So,
One more thing, with this panda.
what you can do?
Yeah, 'cause that's
so
the
can do exactly what I said I'm doing.
That's why I want people to let them know. I'm just saying.
So right, we speak to the grounds, getting out of these houses, we speaking to these parents, of the shooters, of the victims, we taking the conversation full circle. We want to talk to the parents that's out here doing your guns, your son's in the basement making ghost guns.
And how-
Your
can
son
you
is out
give
here
us one-
running, how do we help those people?
Can you give us one example of how you guys went out and took a kid and went from he was a shooter to now he's at? Of course you can't disclose.
I had plenty of
Can you just give me one? You gotta give me, but just to let them know,
Can I give
it's
you
not
a good
just
and a
fun.
bad?
Just whatever. The Lord is in charge.
I'm gonna give you the bad one first. So like I said,
Quick though.
so like you mentioned too, some of the music stuff that's going on. Obviously, I dealt with a lot of the youth that's in the, a lot of the drill rap stuff that's going on. I had several kids, no longer here with us today. That I was dragging to the finish line, helping mom, helping dad, situating in school, job, this, that, and the third. One got killed, shot 16 times on his discharge date. Had him for 6 months. Discharge date, got shot 16 times. I'm sitting down there where mom called me. I was the first person to come to my mind.
And before you go there, I want you to know what's important. What was the thing that you would say contributed to him not going one way or the other, if anything?
The separation of the home. Dad was married to somebody else. Mom was still down North Philly, still struggling. She was with someone else too. But that person wasn't really like a good dynamic in the household, still struggling his struggle. And lashing up with friends in that environment, 20, 30 birds. Getting wrapped up in it. Not really a rapper, but he associated.
Right.
I'm walking around with you. You're sitting on your step.
I'm just moving you along.
So the good ones, all right, the ones that you can get out here and grab, the ones that listen to you, the ones that
No,
you
give me the
come-
real example. Like I took this kid and he took it and now he's here because they need to know it's real.
So,
No name, but just this.
a good one is a child that I had one time, depressed, 12 years old, living in the Kingston area. Mom, I don't know what happened to mom, but she was like paraplegic, from the waist down, paralyzed. Dad busy working, 6 other kids in the house, he was the youngest. Getting up at 5 a.m. to make it to school all the way in Germantown by himself. I pop up at his house one time, he ain't by himself. Leaving out when I'm leaving. I don't know where he going. He now graduated, out of diversion, doing well. Mom's still sick, but help dad get resources, help older sister, help maintain, step in, bring the family together.
All right, thank you. I mean, because they need to know it can be applied in that.
So to answer your question, who are they looking up to? I mean, you kind of sort of answered it by social media. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we up here want to try and change, it's going to be us getting in front of them. So more of these events, getting out more into the community where these kids are, having more events for these kids, because the sooner we can reach out and grab these kids before they get sucked into what the society is basically telling them to do, the faster we can get to them, the faster we can show them a different way. The more we build this program, the more we're gonna do. What I've learned from my experience is once you can get outside of these city blocks and you experience other things and you go other places, your mind is like, I need to get there. But if all you see is the 4 corners of your block, that's all you're gonna know. And whatever you see on social media, whatever's on your phone. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, anybody can put anything on social media. So following behind what you see, like these celebrities, I promise you, these celebrities are putting out whatever they're supposed to put out. But their real lives is not what y'all see. You got rappers talking about having multiple women and they married. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta really let them be entertainers. That's all it is entertainment. We need to start looking at men like this, mothers like this, people that's in the community that care. Those are the ones that y'all should really start looking at. And the more people we can get out in the community and grab these kids, like I said this to her, there's no more of the village that when I was coming up. I could be on my aunt block, and if somebody on that block, if I'm acting crazy, she going, come here, what are you doing? Nowadays, it's none of that. It's out of sight, out of mind, I'm gonna mind my business, and that doesn't work. So the more we can get people in these communities that care, that want to see these kids do more, it's going to be easier to do that. But it's going to take work. And I'm telling you myself that I'm going to help put in the work. As much as I can do, as much as she can do, and as much as they can do, we're going to put in the work to try and get to these kids as much as we can.
Can I say something about the music real quick? So, if any of you young men or young ladies are interested in music, what I want you to know is that what you see on TV is not reality. I know from experience. 1999, I had the privilege of being a member of a group called No Question. Some of you may remember, some of you may not. We were the last R&B quartet signed to Mr. Kenny Gamble and Mr. Leon Huff, who had Philly International Records. We did joint ventures with Rough Nation Records, who was responsible for groups like Criss Cross and the Fugees and Lauren Hill Soul Career. And we also moved on to a bigger label in Warner Brothers Records. What you see on TV, what you see in music videos, it's not reality. The careers you see these guys have, all the fun that you see them having on TV, it's not reality. You see them on TV, gold chains, Rolls Royces, Balenciagas, Louis Vuitton, you see all of that, but guess what? All of it's rented. They don't own any of it. Some get through the cracks. Some get through the cracks, some are able to have careers with longevity. But music today, unfortunately for you guys, is here today, going tomorrow. There is no media coaching. There is no, prepping musical acts and getting them ready for stardom. You have to come with what you have now. Your social media. And I'm bringing this up for a reason. He says social media. Because this is how they get you. Social media is where they look to and see how big your fan base is. So trust and believe. And brothers, I don't say this to deter you. We have a music program, and we promote positivity with our music program because we want you to move in the right direction with your music. We want you to be creative to help people. The music business will chew you up and spit you out. From the moment someone offers you money, deals, whatever, you gotta know that it's all business. And that the same way you are talented, there are people all over the world who are talented just like you, even more talented, or guess what? Less talented, but these labels, right. So I say that to say this. Do not be inspired by what you see on TV. If you are a creative, what I would advise or give advice to do is be creative in a positive manner. The more positivity you let out, the more you receive. The more you give, the more you receive. And if you're putting positive energy out into the world, all of that is going to come back to you. Now, if you choose to dance with the devil, he'll dance with you. He'll dance with you, but you may not like the result because he'll dance circles around you. And you're not even noticing. People dangle a chain in your face, and you're ready to grab it. I'm going to say something they used to say to us. And people used to get mad when I used to say this. We had the last of the great parents. We had the last of the great neighbors, because guess what? He was white. I used to have a neighbor named Miss Mary. She caught me doing anything. She might as well have been my father. If she caught me doing anything that she knew I wasn't allowed to do, man, she didn't have to wait for my father she didn't have to wait to tell my father anything. There was a spanking coming with that. And a punishment followed by that. See, that's what we don't have anymore. We got, right now, We have millions of dollars going into gun violence prevention when they should just be putting it back in the schools. You know, they should be putting it back in the schools. You guys don't have training programs except financial literacy in schools. Guess what? When you get out of school, it's a money world. It's a capitalistic. We live in a capitalistic country. You guys probably don't even know what that is, let alone know how to sign a check, balance a checkbook, budget, save, all these things that are going to be important to your future. I know a lot of you get some money, y'all see a pair of sneaks, y'all want those sneaks. Jordans was, my first pair of Jordans was like $50, and that was too much for my father. He was like, $50, man, I'm not, man, you getting them Converse. Balenciagas, $300, Louis Vuitton, $300, $400, $500, $600. You know, y'all run out to get these, but let me tell you something. You know what $300, $400, $500, $600 can buy? Food. It costs a lot right now.
So I definitely wanted to piggyback off of what Ray said about the role models or something. I honestly want to say that stuff starts in the home. So we definitely have to stop not blaming, but attributing that to out in the streets. Yeah, we can have better schools, better communities. We have to become a community too around these children, but it starts in the home. And I'm not, if mom and dad not there, you got your uncle, your cousin, your big cousin.
But what if you don't?
But if you don't, you can find resources for that. You got your neighbors. But what I'm saying is that we have to bring it back to that.
The only reason I say that is because, you know, even though people think, you know, people hear Blackwell and they say, you know, well, he comes from a great family.
Right.
Guess what? I was homeless.
Right.
I was a homeless teenager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what being a Blackwell meant to everybody. I just wanted to play football, sing,
Right.
do what my friends were doing. I was one of them. But we had people who would snatch you
Right.
and grab you back.
And that's
You know, even
creating
if your parents weren't there to do it. So, you know, there was a certain element in community that we had at one time that doesn't exist right
Yeah.
now. You know,
Yeah,
because
if they
people aren't paying attention to them. We have a bunch of meetings, we have a bunch of healing circles, and you know what you see in these circles? You see a bunch of kids who actually are out trying to do the right thing. We aren't bringing the ones in who are out there doing the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to get from that? Now, I'm not saying everybody because, you know, Pan, who I had the privilege of working for, you know, they're at the doors. You know, the only thing I always say is, you know, being at the door with somebody shot already, you know, you're too late on prevention. You know what I mean? So it's about getting out in front of it.
Hold on, Ray. Let me answer. You about to answer? Let me answer your first question. Hold on. You gotta hold on. Hold on, because this is why. Because we get here to get things done, and we're having a venting session. You ask a question, your experience. Just listen. Let me answer your question. See, training. This is what's happening. That's what's not happening. Everybody want to talk and ask questions when they want to. I'm gonna tell you what my uncle told me that's in prison, my primary mentor, what you're talking about. He's been locked up since I was 2. Manny Strong, Anthony Harrell from 19th area. He told me just a couple months ago, or about a year ago, and it wasn't because I was following instructions. He said, life is not a guessing game. You're passionate, right? We're all passionate. But there's only one professional really in the city of Philadelphia that knows what's going on with the violence, and that's me. And I'm not saying it because it's me. I'm saying it because everybody else that has been talking about it, they haven't been prioritizing looking at the problem and what the science says. That's how you fix a problem. You look at what's causing the problem, the brain, and then you use resources to fix what's causing the problem. Book bags, meetings, and all the things we're talking about don't work, do nothing for healing the brain. So you want to answer? There it is. I'm glad everybody just told on themselves in here. I'm 40. And you said, and Tommy said, and everybody that talks said, we were raised the best. And we're the ones not doing our job with that raising. So I'm glad you said that on camera. and took accountability while you were looking for the answer. You are the answer. We are the answer. We are the problem. There are children, our peers and their children that are not doing it with the best upbringing because we're still acting like kids, talk about, well, we had the best upbringing. Where are those people that raised us? Can they raise our children too? Those that were the best raising that you're talking about was there while we were kids doing their job, and now it's our time to do our job, and we're running around so spoiled. They did such a good job, you're still looking for them to do the job. And you want to know the blueprint for it? It's God, the person that created us. You know how you look at your phone, how to work a phone, and you go to the mechanic to get your car fixed, and you go to the barbershop to get your hair cut? Well, the manual for life is the Bible and the Quran and the Torah, and they all say the same thing. They all got the same ancestors. They are all one, but we get in here, we're talking like, well, y'all and them and us, and because you got to love your neighbor. Your neighbor. Everybody's loving their cliques and their families. If one person of God loved their neighbor, then there is no violence on the block. Hello. The churches are filled. If one of them was going home and doing the one commandment of loving thy neighbor, that's the mentor system you was looking for. By the way, it's free. It's available on any phone, any laptop. If you want a physical copy of it, you can ask any spiritual institution. We are here because we got the information and we're not using it. Instead, we're running around like the devil, showcasing our programs and everything else instead of directing people to the source. And that's why I don't come out too often.
So there's several answers, I think, to, you said his name's Ray, right?
Yes.
There's several answers to Ray's question. I don't know if this thing's on or not.
They get
But, you know, I think what Kim said about it starting in the home is definitely true. However, I believe that just like work with adults, kids spend a lot of time in schools. So they do need to see those role models. They do need to have these programs in the schools, right? Now, our job, I think, as community leaders, our jobs as just individuals in general, is to plant the seeds. The thing with seeds is that you don't always see them bloom. You don't always see them blossom, but you're there to plant them. I've worked for a lot of different group homes. I'll say that. For group homes for over a decade now, I'm the director of quality for individuals with mental health diagnosis for the county, for Chester County actually. And what I've seen in all of these different programs is that you have to plant that seed. You may not see them bloom, but you do have to be there to actually plant it in their head and just hope and pray that when it's time or when they're facing that adversity, that they actually go back to what they actually learned. Actually take a look around the community or think about the different things in the community, think about their actions and try to do better. You know, me personally right now, I know we talked about the youngins in their phones and wanting to be rappers and social media and everything else. Like you said, social media is fake. If you take a look at your own social media, take a look on there, see how many times you show yourself depressed. You don't, it's a highlight reel. When Yana K had us do like the whole sanctuary model about our feelings, I said, I'm feeling cloudy. It's because I'm not in the best space. But I still know how to get up and move and function without throwing hands, without pulling a gun, you know, and that's what it's about. You gotta know how to be able to move forward.
My answer to that question, you know, I agree with it. Like everybody said, I agree with Guy when we speak about it's us, right? Because we had this conversation yesterday on live about, you know, we always talk about how we was raised and this and the third, but it's time to be innovative, right? Like our communities are no longer communities. Our households are no longer households. Community is an action word, not just somewhere we live, right? And even when we talk about violence, I feel like we highlight the youth too much within violence because even though 10% is a lot of the violence in America, I mean, the violent crimes in Philadelphia, gun violence, but 10% is youth. The average people using guns and killing each other is 27 to 34 years old. So those are the role models, right? So we highlight when the youth get killed, as we should, right? But at the end of the day, somebody got killed last night. right? Somebody getting killed probably today. I just seen a little girl got shot somewhere in Germantown, right? But the average is 27 to 34 years old. So that means the mental health thing, we raising our kids to be killers. We're not raising our kids to be, you know, young men or going to school or whatever we was raised to be. You know understand what I'm saying? So it's really us, and it's reasons as to why. When we talk about social media, we talk about trillions of dollars getting invested in raising our kids the wrong way. Trillions of dollars are adding to our depression to go buy pills because the pills is a $1 trillion entity. Prison is a $65 billion entity every single year. So we gotta understand what's being invested in this. And at the same time, find creative ways to fight against that investment. And it's hard to fight against that investment. You might look at $40 million in gun violence prevention as a lot. It's a lot, but not against $40 billion in gun violence. It's not when we talk about the NRA and why all these. I feel like the guns in our neighborhoods, like the drugs was in our neighborhoods in the 80s. This is our next pandemic. This is our next epidemic. So we just the fight is for it, and we all looking for answers. And as long as we stay together and continue to fight, we just continue to fight. And that's all we got to do.
As far as the role model thing, with these young people, and with me getting them, for like these young people here about 14, 15, 16, and some of the rappers that I had that come through the center, and Bucks, and all of them, the guys that y'all like, you know what I mean? They come in there at 13 and 14, they writing their rhymes, and I watch them grow up in there, and I watch them become who they are inside the center. And everything that they say in them raps, trust me, all that stuff is fake. When I tell you, them guys be crying there, they whining there, they complaining there, they Mr. D, Mr. D, Mr. D, please call me, now please call me. All that tough stuff goes out the door. You know what I mean? Don't believe none of that stuff. And if they was here, I would tell them that in their face. I talked to Bucks, he upstate, he in state prison right now. He went from a 14-year-old teenager in the study center to upstate road to now I think he's 21, maybe 22 in state prison. And I'm like, you throwing your whole career away, bro. Like you really throwing your career away because you want to prove that you was somebody that you wasn't. And I know who you are, and I watched you being here, I watched you cry, I watched you sit here and complain. And for a lot of them guys, especially the ones that got killed, the rappers that got killed in the city, I had a lot of them, and it's the same thing. They're not who they say they are. Some of them do that.